at the organizational, national, whatever levels, but I brought it down to our levels and family levels. Do we budget for health needs? I know that Justice mentioned something about insurance, isn't it? Do we budget and plan for health as a house, as a family? And it all rests on us as men. Health as a personal or individual concern, and then they take charge of your health. That's what we were told. You know, in the home, at home, in the workplace, make sure you have adequate sleep. I've heard these people who think that it's, you know, they pride themselves in the fact that they don't sleep early and they wake up very early. You know, a fellow tells you how he sleeps at midnight and wakes up at 2 a.m. and they are busy working at their desk, and they are mostly men. So you think it's an achievement and it's a show of masculinity and might. We have daktari hapo atatuambia whether the habit of sleeping very late and waking up very early, sasa ni hard working, is healthy. Adequate sleep, and many others. Regular exercise, of course, stress, self-management, good health-seeking habits. Tumeambiwa mara mingi hapa until we very quiet, isn't it? Mwanaume kwenda hospitali inakuwa ni challenge. So, it's time for you to pose the questions you had written down and to get responses from our experts. You have financial questions for Justus and health questions for Dr. Gitari. Where do we start? Who is ready to go? Do we have extra mics? Oh, okay. Nelson has a mic here. You raised your hand. We have Dr. Mwenda here. Then you tell us the question is to who. We'll take several, and then we give them a chance to respond, and then we go to round 2. If we take like about 15 minutes, I think it will be good enough. So, Mwenda?
Okay, thank you very much, our coordinator. Vanessa asifiwe. My question goes to Justus. We have taught so much on how we can be able to invest. Now, my question is that the government is coming up with affordable housing. And again, also they have come with the loans to give the Kenyans to build their own houses. What is the way forward now to the real estate investors? Thank you.
Forward with regard to real estate, Bishop. Bishop has a mic. Oh, you.
Mine goes to Dr. Gitari. This is about prostate gland or prostate cancer. I think it would have been fair to tell us the very first signs of this trouble. Very first signs of this trouble, if I may call it so. I think I would personally desire to hear a little more on that.
Very good. We are still taking, maybe we could take like 2 or 3 more, then we get the answers. Tony?
Thank you. This goes to financial literacy. I'd like some more expounding about online business and the opportunities in the online field with regards to finance. Thank you.
Very good. Online business. I was being told somewhere of a young man who works for American company and he's based here. He does it from his house. That's not something else. Questions? Those are 2 for Justus.
Thank you very much. Mine also goes to Daktari. Again, about the prostate issue. A friend of mine told me it can be caused by low or no sexual activity. So perhaps you can confirm that for the benefit of those who may be over 40 years, as you said. And you said that when you develop those issues, we should come to you. Perhaps you give us the tips. So I was wondering whether you can share those tips together with us because you are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's a second one for Daktari. I can see Mutinda has a mic.
Praise the God. I want to direct my question to Justus. On the issue of budgeting, normally budgeting you do it based on one period, either 1 month, 6 months, or 1 year. For us here, how do you budget? On what period? My question.
Very good. Any other before we give them an opportunity to respond, and then we probably go to another round? Any other question?
Maybe I can ask one.
Yes, Nelson.
On the finance expert, on the issue of mortgages, both the employer and maybe mortgages that are offered by financial institutions, SACCOs, and etc. What's your take and what do you advise on the same? Thank you.
That's a question on finances. I believe Justice has written that. Okay, we have Dan here.
Yeah, this one got to Daktari because he has talked about the street doctors. And sometimes when I walk in town, I see them and I see large crowds of people surrounding them. Do these products that they have, do they treat or are they good, because we see even Christians around them and maybe I see them buying whatever they showcase. Are they good? Yeah.
Okay. I think each one of you has 3 questions. Maybe we could quickly respond to that. We will start with Daktari and then we go to Brother Justus.
Thanks a lot for those questions. Probably maybe I would request the media team to project for me the second and third last slides there so that I can be able to respond to the first 2 questions. The second and the last, the last lines, the one that has a diagram for the male reproductive system. Yeah, so from Reverend Jiroke, you requested for me to shed light on the signs of prostate cancer. Basically, this is the prostate gland that you are talking about here. It's one of the reproductive structures in a man. At sexual intercourse, the semen that comes out here, a huge chunk of that fluid is manufactured by the prostate gland. You see, or rather the ejaculate, at ejaculation, a huge chunk of that fluid, some come from the testes here, through these pipes, bring on board also sperms that come here and get mixed with these secretions so that, you can get semen moving out. A huge chunk of that is manufactured here. So that's why it's one of the reproductive structures in a male person. But for 1 or 2 reasons with age, this gland enlarges so that it enlarges outwards and inwards. Within no time it can block this pipe. So that could just be innocent growth of the prostate that is age-related, we call it benign prostatic hyperplasia, innocent growth of the prostate that is just age-related, has nothing to do with cancer. The only symptoms that you get is just that poor urine flow. Mwanaume anaenda kukojoa halafu unapata ile force yenye ulikuwa unakojoa mpaka unagonga huko sasa. When you are 30 years or 20 years now is no more, unapata sasa unakojoa mpaka hapa kando hapa. We should not be a big issue. You share it out with the doctor, and then now you are going to work it out, so to speak, But now, in connection to now the prostate cancer, by the way, it's treatable also. At the end of the day, now the drugs meant now to shrink this gland that are innocently enlarged, maybe courtesy of age, isn't it? Nothing to do with the cancer, but the drugs meant to shrink it. Once it is shrunk, even the tone of these muscles around this area where unambrika mkojo hapa kwa hii bladder, they are drugs meant to reduce that tone so that within no time the path opens. Yeah, this is basically the doctor's work now. Within no time unapata unatumia dawa, mkojo yenye iko inatoka vizuri, inaanza kutoka vizuri sasa. That's basically the innocent enlargement of the gland. But when that occurs, the doctor is very, very keen now to make sure that it's just innocent enlargement, that it's not cancer. So within no time, simultaneously, the patient is screened for cancer of the prostate. There you talked about the signs. One of those signs is basically, cancer is just growth. Basically, abnormal growth of cells touching an organ, this time now touching on the prostate. So when those cells start now to multiply in a cancerous state, it just mimics the innocent growth. So bando mkojo unapata itoki vizuri. Once in a while you can even get blood in the urine. And most importantly, pain around this area, especially when you start getting cancer cells now touching the organs around now there. This bone, the back there, you can get now some bizarre, basically pelvic pain or pain around these areas, I would call it. So anytime when you get now the poor urine flow, and then any pain around this area, there could also be probably blood in the urine. Those are the main telltale signs basically for cancer. In other words, whether it has run innocent or due to cancer, there's an overlap. There, just present yourself to the doctor, and the doctor will iron it out. Now, with those pains, basically, it's called the poor urine stream. Unaenda kukojoa sasa, unapata sasa, umekojoa sahi, lakini mkojo haijaisha kabisa. It's because of the same blockage here. You see, unapata maybe after 30 minutes, unasikia bando kuenda kukojoa tena. That becomes an issue, by the way. Just see your doctor to iron it out now, to be able to find out or make out now is it the innocent issues around the prostate that are manageable by drugs. At times surgery. Yeah, the doctor just goes there and removes this prostate that is blocking. Alafu inatuondokea. You see, inatuondokea. Alafu after that, mifereji inaachwa ikiwa sasa ina kitu ya kufunga. Now that's basically now the treatment options, especially for innocent growth of that prostate moving forward. That is for at the same time now, when you present yourself, because there's an overlap of those signs, in terms of whether it's innocent, whether it is cancer related, the doctor now will screen you for cancer of the prostate timely. Prostatic surface antigen, as you call it, is a marker. When there is cancer of this area now, that surface antigen of these prostates now rises in the blood. It warns us, where there's smoke, there's fire. It's just a marker. If it is elevated, within no time, the doctor knows here there's some smoke rising somewhere, so there must be fire coming from some corner there. So now it is handled, definitely, by the team of doctors moving forward. They are now definitely, if it is confirmed, most of the times you find doctors now going in there, introducing an endo. You see, especially when the marker of prostate cancer is made out, in blood, that prostatic surface antigen. If it's elevated, basically raising suspicion for cancer, the doctor will come in here with an endo, get some tissues here, and have the pathologist have a look at them just to confirm whether are there any cancer cells. If they are confirmed, definitely we start you on active treatment, and the treatment is there. And then even when you start, even when it enlarges innocently, by the way, doctors are keen to make sure it's not cancer. So within no time, they also biopsy it. Getting a tissue here, looking at the cells now in the microscope by the histopathologist to make sure that it's not cancer. Within no time, that thing is put to rest. The discussion arises now after those results are over. There are also special scans to also look at this area, special imaging, basically to screen this area moving forward. You see, just some of them now similar to the images of the heart that I showed you there, where now you can also look at your heart now even on the screen and basically share the pathology now and get to know where the pathology is with the doctor who is taking care of you moving forward. So I think, I don't know whether that is okay. Thank you. And then now the other thing is cancer of the prostate. Basically, the other question was cancer of the prostate being caused by low or no sexual activity. That one is neither here nor there. It's neither nor here. So that one I think we dismiss it. It's neither here nor there really. So otherwise, it would now, if that was the case, then it would have become now a major public health concern. If that was the case now, it would have been a major public health concern, so to speak. It would even be one of the reasons why people are even asking for transfers to join their wives, quoting that if they're not near their wives, they'll get cancer. So, and then the other thing also, the other thing also, for us as doctors, by the way, we run a lot of science. It's science, and basically, right from high school, and then when it comes to the university, now it becomes even complicated. And at postgraduate training, it even becomes further complicated. So most of the times now, we deal with hard evidence. We don't like gossiping in the world of medicine. We deal with hard facts so that at the end of the day, the advice that I'll give you here, most likely even if you went to Spain or South Africa, is the same thing the doctors there will share with you. So I think that's how I'll respond. I'll respond to that particular issue altogether. So low or no sexual activity, definitely, I think let's leave it aside, And then probably maybe what would have been concerned to us now is a family history. If your father had cancer of the prostate, or there are strong family history of cancer of the prostate, there are diseases that run with families, by the way. Now, where I'm talking as a doctor, so that at the end of the day, sasa, issues crop up, by the way, unapata something is genetic, and you have to deal with it, just the way you could get a parent who is diabetic, and then the daughter happens to be diabetic. It's not that basically ni shetani amemvamia, and scientifically we can even trace that by those genes responsible for that now even in those generations. So that is the science that I'm telling you now. You also give the doctor an opportunity to showcase expertise, do his work, and then now we leave God also now to do the rest of the work now when we've done our work quite well. So definitely, especially if there's a strong family history of cancer of the prostate, with these symptoms that I was talking to you about. Remember? Yeah, hapo sasa kutakuwa na shida kidogo. The moment you get now signs of urine blockage, it becomes urine not coming out quite well, any pain around now these areas, blood in the urine, those are red flags as we call them. Kindly share that out with your doctor. And it's going to be a discussion also. They are not going to be dogmas that are just, or you being bashed by the doctor. It's going to be a candid discussion, and then you will find yourself concluding together. And then the other thing also, the tips at the consultation room for prostate, I think is what I've talked about. Those are some of the issues the doctor now will be trying now to bring out, especially there. Hiyo path sasa nimewaonyesha hapo sasa, kwa sababu hapo ndio shida iko. And the history also now, the discussion that you have with your doctor will rotate around the same, moving forward, So anytime when you have all those red flags that I'm talking about, share that out with the doctor, by the way. You might even discover problem, maybe we are thinking is a prostate, kumbe it's something else altogether that also is going to be addressed accordingly. And then now the last question, street doctors. I also see them, by the way, the HAPO, the street doctors and also the HAPO people. I always meet them in town, Dan. I also meet in town, and I also find now crowds of people now hovering around them. Apparently, I do not know what they do to begin with, because now, after high school and 6 years of undergraduate training, and then now after that and 3 years of postgraduate training, and then I have 20 years of medical practice out there. Dan nimezeka kidogo. I'm not that young, by the way, as I could look. And all that time now, those years in school, me si kufunzwa anything about what they use. You get why I'm not powered enough, basically, now to talk on their behalf or to respond. Because now, for us as doctors, we deal with hand science, things that are replicatable. The way I was taught now is the way even a doctor in America, South Africa is taught. Now, hiyo sasa is not part of the curriculum, so you can see now. I may not know what they do literally, but probably maybe as a word of advice, whatever they do falls under the Ministry of Social and Culture Services. That's why they're able now. They don't hide themselves because they are constitutionally protected. It falls under the Ministry of Social and Cultural Services. So that's why they don't fear. Even witchcraft, by the way, falls under the Minister of Social and Culture Services. So that makes it very, very tricky even to confront them. Well, I think once they paid now the kanjo fees, now they are busy now, they can basically do whatever they feel like doing. But you can see now for us now, with basically medical services, we're under the medical services system, they're under the Minister of Social and Culture Services. Whatever they do, even alternative medicine is also there, So at the end of the day now, that's where they fall. Probably maybe what I'll tell you, leave those people alone. I think now wisdom here being applied. Just leave those people alone, Yes, let's stick to science and the art of medical practice now that is replicatable now in the entire world. You see, we've had issues with them at one point, by the way, when they mess up patients. All of a sudden, the ward was maybe like 5 patients, and the story is they're having a stroke or probably maybe a kidney problem, and they're all using the same concoction. Now, ambiwa sasa hizi ndawa ndizo zitaniponyesha. You see, you start getting interested and why. Most of them, they come with those medications now, huko kwa hospitali, ukatuambia ndawa, mimi niambiwa niacha na hizi ndawa, nitumie hizi zingine. You see, so at times we get concerned now, basically at a professional level, and we even engage authorities to go find out what is it that is happening. Hiyo siku yenye sasa wameenda kufuatwa sasa, the following morning utapata wote sasa wako hata mahali wanauzia wamefunga duka, mtu ametoka sasa kutoka hapa amehamia Kerugoya. You see, so they are basically, unaona sasa hiyo mchezo wa paka na panya sio mzuri. It just tells you so much, by the way. Leave those people alone. I think let's stick to the art of medical practice. We optimize medical care, and then tuachie Mungu hapo pengine sasa afanye kazi yake. Ni biashara, by the way. Hiyo ni biashara yenye I do not know what is inside whatever they sell, by the way. Na kitu yenye sasa si kufunzwa shule. Out of my 20 years medical practice, I've also not known what they do, so I may not be able to talk much now concerning them, but from wisdom, just leave those people alone. You see, most likely, something will go wrong and they will not own up. In fact, if something bad happens and get back to them, kuambia kuna ndaunipatia hapa naona sasa zimeniharibu, hiyo siku most likely I think utawapata hapo the following day. So I think the one that I can use to wrap it up is the conmen. Yeah, the conmen. So it's upon you to know what to do with the conmen. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'm not a medic, but whatever is not bankable, you should not deal with it. Those guys are not bankable because they say by law, if you are not bankable, you are not legit. And if you are not legit, then there's no fallback for those guys in the streets. I have a couple of questions. Number one is on affordable housing. Maybe the clarity I would want to present first is this thing around the government so-called affordable housing. One of the things you need to realize when the members of parliament were debating on this so-called housing levy, initially it was supposed to be an housing levy, but finally it was converted into an housing tax. So this is not money you have control over, it's a tax now. It's actually a statutory deduction. It is not meant for you to use it to buy a house. It is meant to create a pool of money by the government to construct, using private developers, houses, subsequent to which you will have to put a deposit, first apply, if you qualify, put a deposit, then go to your bank and borrow a loan to buy the house. Umenielewa? The housing tax is meant to create a pool of money for the government to get developers who will develop houses, then sell to the public. So that means once you are interested, you apply for the house, then put a deposit. Subsequent to that, go to your bank, or to your circle, or wherever, apply a loan to run with it, to pay for the remaining balance of the house. The question was specific to how does this affect the real estate? One of the things we need to realize, what the government is doing is just to create, to ensure that there are enough buildings for whoever wants to buy or rent. There are two aspects of this affordable housing. Number one, there is what we call the social housing scheme and the affordable housing scheme. The social housing scheme is, government is intending to deal with the slum guys who may not even afford to buy the house, but they will be lending the housing to these guys, like when you go to Makongeni in Nairobi and all that. So they will demolish Kibera, put up the social housing, the government takes up the cost, then they will be lending at affordable rent up to the period of the lease. The other side is now the affordable housing, where they will put up the houses, flats, apartments, and then they will sell to you. It is upon you now to qualify for that building. But there is a mark on it. There is when we talk about affordable housing, we are referring to housing, making houses or other homes available to the people lower on the income calendar. In Kenya, as it has been defined, anybody earning less than 150,000 per household. When I say household, is myself and my wife and the family. So if combined, you are earning less than 150,000, that is what will qualify you to be a member of the affordable housing. If your total income as a household exceeds 150, then you no longer belong and qualify to be categorized under the affordable housing scheme. The effect and the impact on the real estate in my initial impact, in the short term, we may not see an impact. But if the government keeps its promise and the houses come up, then you can imagine the middle class would then want to use their rent to apply in terms of an installment so that ultimately they can own a home that they can call theirs. In the short term, I don't feel there will be an impact because politicians being the guys they are, I don't want to say anything on this platform. So the short term, maybe not. Into the long term, upon completion of these houses, the middle class is likely to move to seek to own a house, and therefore the private real estate, of course the population is also growing, so we would not expect much impact. And actually, on the question on online business, yesterday, I think it's a live question. It's a girl who came to my office looking for employment, and she told me she's doing online writing. I think much of it is more on the online writing than doing the other side of the job. So I think the opportunity is there. One of the things we just need to establish is do your thorough background checks, because for online writing, what much happens is they are the main contractors who get the business, the main guys, the main owner of the business. Then they give out this writing to young people, and many times they have really exploited these young people. So please do your background check, confirm the authenticity and the persons you are dealing with. Just like in banking, we say do your KYC, know your customer, know your employer, look at the track records, and of course, have some sign-ups of some agreements, of course online, and then you are good to go. Many young people are really making some income from this online business. Of course, sometimes it consumes their night, and I know Dr. told us we need to sleep enough, but many of them are working in the day, writing all over the night, and then they come to work defeated by sleep and by the tiredness. But there is an opportunity, do your background check, and of course I know the government is also promoting that. On budgeting, I like this question. A budget is informed by two things. By the frequency of your earnings. Because, for example, if you are a contractor, you cannot do a monthly budget. Of course, the expenses are monthly, but the income is not monthly. Because for you, you'll have the source of income, and budget has the source and the expenses on the other side. So if your incomes are monthly, you do a monthly budget, and then the income, you then prolate your income. If your incomes are quarterly, or rather after 6 months, you have then to prolate those incomes into monthly, because your expensing is daily. Your food is a daily thing. So you cannot postpone food because you are not earning. So once you earn your lump sum of contracts for 6 months, then you allocate each month, January, February, until the next pay. But you start with what we call priority areas. The things that you cannot do without. You cannot do without food, you cannot do without clothing, you cannot do without school, children going to school. Ensure those ones are covered. Then the less important things fall on down there. So the expense line must be captured as a monthly expense line. But the income can be prolated depending on the frequency of your incomes. Those of us in business and we earn daily, then we have to accumulate the money and expense it as a monthly expense. On mortgage, this is one very controversial area, especially on the cost of mortgage in Kenya. I know we confuse between mortgage. There is what we call the traditional mortgage product, and we have a construction product. It could be a construction like the one we are doing behind here, where you go to the bank and you are telling them, I need money for construction. But there is this guy who wants a house, a personal house for family. That then is what we many times refer as mortgage. Of course, all of it is mortgage, but for our understanding, this is what we refer as mortgage. Mortgage, which is not negotiated in terms of interest rate, can be very destructive. Because, for example, take a mortgage which you are getting for 25 years at an interest of 17%. You calculate and you realize you'll have paid that loan almost 3-4 times of the principal amount. But we have the advantage of negotiated mortgages, especially during campaigns. Banks run campaigns on a yearly basis. Like my bank was running a campaign at 11.9 last year. Then I know other banks are still running their campaigns, but any mortgage above 15%, think twice. I think I would say, like Daktari, leave those guys alone, because you have tied your income for 25 years at a very expensive rate. And upon the interest continuing to go up, they will be hitting on you. I was giving Daktari and Bishop an example here where, when we went for tea, where some guys took loans. Now the installment has increased by 50,000 a month because of the loan. A loan has moved from 13% to 18%. It pushes an additional 50,000 into your costs. Where will you get this money for the next 25 years? And the way it looks like, in the next 3 years, we may not see interest rates coming down. So please, if then you have to do something, there is this affordable housing, as one of us has said, for towns, for Nairobi, the affordable housing has a limit of 6 million. Then that is Nairobi and the other main towns, Mombasa, Kisumu, and the others. But for towns like ours, the limit is 4.5 million. It is two-way. It can be buying a constructed house, or you buy and build. Buy and build is where you identify the plot yourself, and then you construct. The advantage of this buy and build, you are able to manage your costs. You are able to even do a unit of your own liking. Because the one which is already constructed, you have to take it the way it is. And many of these developers, they give you zero chance of manipulating anything inside. Because some of them are shared columns. You cannot go affecting somebody's columns. So, and then because of the regulation of the government at what we call the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, they have said these rates should not go above 10%. Some banks have capped it. It should be a single digit. So for this affordable, especially majority of us, and this is where majority of us follow, you can go for the affordable housing. I know, like, my bank is doing 9.5 for the ones which are already constructed, and 9.9 for the build and buy and build. So you can take advantage if you are within the ability, and if you are not within, then you truly ensure you can try and go for short-term financing. The advantage of short-term financing, then you are able to do away with this interest within a short-term period, maybe 5 years, if you can afford. But of course, many times, if you can afford, you still want to prolate, but take a personal deliberate decision of paying more than the installment is asking for. Because you have to ensure, number one, you qualify by spreading longer, but within additional income, then reduce as quickly as you can. Thank you.
Very good. Let's give them a hand clap. we are still assembling our lunch. That's why you can see we want to, instead of breaking and walking around like that, we want to utilize that time a bit. And then when they are ready, they'll tell us. We had to allow the children to go back to class, and then organize for our own. So those are responses that have come from our experts. They are speaking from a point of knowledge and expertise. As you know, Justus is a branch manager, NCBA, and Daktari is a medic, and so he's speaking from that point, professional standpoint. We have taken 4 questions. Is it 4-3 or 3-3? I can allow for another round of questions. If you have a question or a comment, not just a question or a comment, you can even plug in with your own testimony, going by what they have talked about here. Those of us that are interested in mortgages, what has been your experience? You can plug in and such like things. So any other question? One question there, 2 again, 3. So you tell us it's directed to who? Health or finance?
Bwana asifiwe. I think I have a comment directed to health, then a question for finance.
Okay.
And the question for health is, the comment for health is, I think in relation to the question that Dan asked, and it's in relation to a more dangerous phase of the convent, like Dr. is calling them, the online, the online adverts and the online doctors on issues of weight reduction, on issues of vision enhancement and all that. And I think by the kind of reviews that people make at the end, I think so many people are also falling for them. Then my question, I think I would have plugged it a little bit earlier, so that we would have discussed it, is on the money market funds. And I was looking at a clip that someone was discussing, the available money market funds that are as low as, between 5,000 and up to 100 shillings. You can invest up to 100 shillings per month, and probably share with us if you have any product related to the same. Then the second question is, what would be your advice? I know this might be a direct attack to the group that I belong to, which is the victors. I think I had a discussion with one of the brothers yesterday, and we realized the reason why the golden age is very active is because they are doing things together that keep them together in terms of investment. But when you come to the victors, kila mtu ni kivyake. So what would you advise to particularly the victors in terms of investment opportunities that are available that would be able to keep them as a team? We realize that like everyone is saying, wanaume ni ngumu sana. It will be very difficult for me to call anyone hapa kumwambia leo tumelala njaa. But if we're within, if we're investing together, then it creates that kind of a bond and how do I say, some openness that you're able to talk out to someone. Thank you very much.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. I don't know why Mutembei ran into my mind. Okay, mine is not even a question. It's about money again. I'm trying to look at it now in a corporate way as Deliverance Church International, Blue Valley, Embu. How do we stand to benefit from his knowledge, being one of us, when it comes now to that money market? Don't you think, guys, like we can join hands and from his expertise we benefit? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mine goes to Dr. Gitari. About food supplements, it has become a booming business, and actually even people are preferring them to take them rather than taking the medicine. What's your take in that? Thank you.
Very good. So they respond to that very quickly because I think lunch must be there. Okay. So we'll allow Justus because it's like he's the one who has a bigger chunk of the questions. And then Dr. Gitari, a minute each or 2 minutes, 1 minute?
Thank you, Dr. I will start by giving an example. The reason I think we are also seeing the doctors more is because of the way we are not managing our finances. Because it is melting up to stress, and the other week one of my colleagues came from Nairobi, and then being the guys we are not, they went indulging in what Dr. Wanyama was talking about, kumwanga kwa mesa. So we tuliachana at 6. Na wao kila mtu akaenda hoteli kulala. So for me, I thought they were safe until I saw some phones coming from head office. Waliumishwa mchele in this town of ours in Embu. So mchele inatembea hii town vizuri. So tell your friends to be careful. These guys are really looking for a way of making money. And then that guy had to go to the daktari because whichever way, aliumishwa my friend was telling me aliumishwa pilau, sio mchele, and it was bad. And they are really, I'm told they are seriously here in this town. I like the question around the money markets. This question has really been, it's a way, actually the money markets have existed, and for Kenya the money market space has fairly matured. We have very good companies and money market funds, schemes that are really making good returns. I'm in a group of men, and I will tell you, we met when I was in Nairobi, and we have invested just about 1 million, and in a year we have not been getting anything less than 110,000. In fact, we have now decided to anze kuikula, tumeilisha ya kutosha. So these are good opportunities. The good thing with the money market, you have track, because they give you a statement on a monthly basis. You can track the progress, and please separate between money markets and the insurance, the what we call education schemes and investment schemes. The money market, you are allowed even to put money as frequently as daily and even as frequent as monthly, mainly run by the investment banks. The investment banks many of them belong to other banks, like you hear of the Standard Investment Bank, you hear of the NCBA Investment Bank, and all the other, majority of them, what we call tier 1 banks, have investment banks. And of course, some insurance companies also have investment lines, like CIC, I know of these guys we call Mutual. They also have their own investment money market lines. The products are different there. They are what we call fixed income baskets. We also have what we call equities. We also have this other line of now investing for you in the capital markets, and they are able to give you the expertise and advice on which product they are able to give you advice on which product is doing well. Many of the products, even when the rates on the fixed deposits were down, for them they were fairly rated. And so I would encourage, and thank you for this. This is a place, even as the second question, this is a place the groups, even the Victor's team, you can consider to push your money there, and you'll watch it grow. It grows fairly sweet, and at the end of the day, you'll see returns. The other place you can invest, the interest rates, as I said in my presentation, in the banks have fairly gone up. In fact, currently, the interest rates on fixed deposits have a better return than the money markets. Because in money markets, we are doing all the way to 11%, but the fixed deposit, we are doing all the way to 13%. So you are able to know. And the advantage on the money market is you just give a notice, and within 3 days, you have your money. For this other side, for the fixed deposit, there is a challenge, because if you want to break a fixed deposit, then you lose part of that interest. But for the money market, you lose nothing, including the money your money earned yesterday. So it depends on your sources of income and how you would want to apply the money. Finally, the other one was a comment of how we can join hands. I think that is more of for the bishop. Asante sana.
Thank you very much for that question. Phone supplements. Phone supplements, they are phone supplements. You know, hopefully, I don't know, they are not drugs on their own. You see, because when you come to us, maybe with hypertension, diabetes, or a problem, maybe high cholesterol levels that can damage your heart and your brain, and at the end of them be responsible for ill health. You know, we prescribe for you medications meant to keep those BPs and those blood sugars and those cholesterol levels at normal levels where life is supposed to be optimal health-wise. You see, so at the end of the day, food supplements, let's look at them as food. Alafu sasa ndawa za daktari zitumika vizuri alongside the food supplements. I think that's how I can basically look at it along that way. Issues crop up now when somebody wants now to put the doctor's medications aside and probably maybe use the food supplements. I can assure you something will go wrong somewhere. However prayerful you are, utakuwa na shinda hapo. And by the way, on a very serious note, the moment to develop these lifestyle diseases now, like hypertension and diabetes, if something is not done about them, within 5 years, by the way, I can assure you something major will have happened. At the pressure yanza kupanda, you saw that slide of mine there. All those were deaths worldwide. Basically, people are dying left, right, and center, courtesy of hypertension, diabetes, elevated cholesterol. Those are elevated BMIs. They are damaging those crucial organs. Your heart is damaged. Your kidneys are hit. Your brain is hit. How do you survive? There you need to be very, very careful, by the way, so that if you recall my argument, taking care of, you take charge of your health. And you need also to be proactive. You need not to be passive. Kama ndawa daktari amesema utumie, be proactive in terms of use of those medications. If they are food supplements, the question is, have they been prescribed by the doctor? Once more, we go to the drawing board. If it's the doctor now who has prescribed them alongside the medications, well and good. But most of the times we discover that daktari amefanya kazi yake vizuri. Huku kwingine kwa kijiji sasa kuna mwingine sasa who is pending supplements. Kindly just be very, very, very careful, And if things are not clear, talk to your doctor, call him, ask him, kuna mtu ananiuzia food supplements hapa, what do I do? And I can assure you one of the responses will be, first of all, use the doctor's medications well. And then now, those are supplements. Now, top issues now can be raised later, moving forward. And for me, if it's food supplements, you see, as food supplements, it's chakula. Chakula sasa now is not doing the work that now drugs meant to take care of hypertension or diabetes are supposed to do. So kindly use medications quite well. listen to your doctor's advice quite well moving forward. One thing, by the like hypertension and diabetes and alcohol use, and even that elevated cholesterol levels, by the way, I can assure you, if something is not done in good time, trouble must ensue. We are not prophets of doom, but we go by even hard evidence out there, studies have been done that are very scientific, telling you that the moment you expose that heart that was beating there to elevated blood pressures or elevated blood sugars, those ones that you are seeing pumping blood will get damaged, the muscles will get damaged. How do you survive without a heart that is pumping blood optimally, courtesy of elevated blood pressures and sugars, and those elevated cholesterols? So at the end of the day, listen to your doctor quite well, and if there are any concerns, always talk to your doctor, and you teach your truths, on the best way forward. Because I was telling you the other time, anytime like when you see a good doctor, there's no good doctor who likes getting associated with bad outcomes. Mimi ukikuja kwangu, tukiamua kusaidiana, everybody should be in good health, including the doctor himself. So in other words, when you come to see there's no doctor who wants to be associated with alienda kwa huyu daktari, ona sasa alikufa. Unaona alienda kwa huyu daktari, huyu mwingine ameenda kwa huyu daktari, ona sasa sijui hajatoki kwa kitanda. No way. Doctors would want their patients now to be in good health. Kama wengine sasa wananipata kwa supermarket wakaniambia daktari habari yako, mimi hata siwajui. Najua mimi nilikuwa na daktari sasa. Then you also feel good, you also feel good, and you even, you feel good about your work moving forward. So kindly follow your doctor's advice quite well. And these days we are friendly visitors, we have a small chats, and we walk a journey together, and we conclude issues together, basically to the benefit of either parties.
Very good. Let's give them a hand clap. As you can see, we must stop, isn't it? Because it's getting very interesting. We want you to go and take care of your health, then you come back and we continue with the same, isn't it? What Justus and the Daktari have been telling us is that as you look for money, take care of your, that's a weakness with men. They go looking for money, and they look for money until they lose their health. So as you look for money, because men love money and projects, take care of your, I know John is in the border in the sector. Tell the young people as they look for money, they should take care of their health, and all of us. Hata wale tuko kwa mjengo hapa, you wear helmets and all that. So with that, we want to end our 2 morning sessions here. I'm told the lunch is now ready.